this thing called basketball.
I've heard
right?
of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basketball,
That's a good one.
invented by a man named James Naismith. Not Stephen A. Smith, James
Different.
Naismith.
Totally different.
Let's kick it off with Andrew over here. Who would you say, and we'll get into the more specifics, who would you say is the best basketball dynasty of all time?
Well, it's really easy to say the Celtics, winning 8 straight titles. It's really easy to say
In the
90s.
50s, in the 50s
In
and
the
60s.
60s, yeah. It's really easy to say the 90s Bulls with Jordan, but this is my first show. I think I'm going to come out with a big statement.
Hot take.
Hot take.
no.
I'm going to argue it is entirely possible that we are living in the greatest basketball dynasty.
You're saying that
We've
the
ever
Golden
seen.
State Warriors could be, but are they a dynasty? Is that what you're saying?
3
Do you-
championships in 4 years and 1 game away, 1 minute away from having 4 in a row.
Doesn't count. That doesn't count.
In a season where they won 73 games
Doesn't count.
and
the most of all time, we should.
most
we
of all
should
time
remind people.
and looking very good this year, looking like they could win another one.
The criteria is what's different for a lot of people, and I understand where you're coming from with the Warriors, but for me, it has to be those Celtics. 8 straight championships, guys like Bill Russell, having one of the greatest coaches of all time, Red Auerbach. There's no way. Even the Lakers, if you go to Showtime, you go to Kareem, you go James Worthy, all of those guys. Even later on with Phil Jackson and Shaq and Kobe and those teams. I think that's a little bit better.
But
So
there
you're going with the Lakers or the Celtics?
I'm going with the Celtics. I'm going with the Celtics.
But I mean, there were 9 teams in the league
For sure, but that's the
back
way
then.
the game is
And
played.
I also would argue I think we should put more weight towards sustained periods of success in later time periods that are closer to recent years, because back then you didn't have you didn't have such widespread. You didn't have free agency. There was
True.
much less
That's true.
player mobility.
For sure.
You were able to keep a core team of around Bill Russell.
The game
for an
was
entire
also
decade.
considerably different in terms of
Yes.
physicality. So if you're weighting this, that's where the criteria gets iffy. The only thing that matters, for me at least, my criteria, and for most people I would say, is championships. You play to win the game. That's the quote.
But I actually love Andrew's argument, and yes, the one criteria we could say is championships. But what if back in the 40s there were only 2 teams? You can't say, oh, it's only championships, because the fact that there was only 9 teams, that's
So the
big thing.
Harlem Globetrotters aren't a dynasty?
Oh, well, that's different. I mean, that's like what?
It's a dynasty.
50 years undefeated?
Exactly. But there's only 2 teams.
I'm an NFL Blitz champion, but I only play against my brothers. Does that make me a dynasty?
In your house,
your
it does.
household, yes.
For 100%
Yes,
at the
it does.
dinner table, I'm sure it does.
I'll just throw out a couple more teams for honorable mention before we move on to another topic. It's San Antonio Spurs,
Oh.
current, even though over a longer period of time, 15 years, they're kind of like the Patriots of basketball.
Yeah,
right?
that's another example of like maybe the championships were very spread out for the Spurs over a 20 plus.
They started in
sustained period
'99.
of
They won
success.
the first championship in '99 versus the Knicks.
But
of course.
97
But they
was
were
the
good all through the
Yeah,
90s.
yeah,
as well.
97 was the first year of that streak where they hadn't missed the playoffs. They've had at least 50 wins. It went from David Robinson passing the torch to a guy like Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, Manny Ginobili, and then Kawhi Leonard towards the end of it. Quietly, they've built quite a dynasty for themselves.
Do you think it's continuing at all with DeRozan and Aldridge, or the dynasty's over?
I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna see the Duncan level success for a while with the Spurs.
Go Bridgeside.